All right, today we're diving into something pretty fascinating. A nation's quest to reclaim its own memory. And at the very heart of this story is one unique institution, Pakistan's National Documentation Wing.
Okay, just think about this for a second. Imagine your family's entire story. All the birth certificates, the old letters, the photos is locked away in somebody else's house. You can't get to it. How would you even begin to piece together who you are? Well, that's the exact dilemma a brand new nation was facing.
And this takes us right back to 1947. The partition of British India happens, and the new nation of Pakistan is born. But, amidst all that upheaval, something absolutely critical was missing: its entire historical paper trail.
That's right. The brand new country of Pakistan had no central archive. Zero. Its foundational documents, the very records that told the story of how it came to be, were not even within its borders. The nation's memory was, quite literally, overseas. And we're talking about a history that was just scattered everywhere. Key records were in Calcutta and New Delhi, which were now in India. A huge, massive collection was sitting in London's India Office Library. And on top of all that, other documents were spread out across different local offices. It was like a giant, global historical jigsaw puzzle with no box top to look at. So what do? How do you even begin to solve a problem that huge? Well, it took a few decades, but eventually a really ambitious mission was launched to tackle this national challenge head-on. You can see the direct line here. The archival crisis that started in 1947 led directly to the creation of the National Documentation Center in 1974. And this wasn't just another government department. This was a mission to physically go out and reclaim a nation's past. And that institution, which we now know as the National Documentation Wing, or NDW, has a crystal clear mission. It's the one specialized body in charge of finding, managing, and preserving all those primary source materials that tell the story of the region, from British colonial rule all the way through the Pakistan movement. So, after all these decades of hard work, what does this reclaimed history actually look like? Come on, let's take a look inside the incredible collection the NDW has managed to build. The collection is just vast. It really focuses on several key themes. You've got original documents from British rule, records from the broader Indian nationalism movement, and then, more specifically, the Muslim political movements that eventually led to the Pakistan movement. Plus, it holds vital government records that are still essential for administration today. But here's the thing. It's not enough to just collect all this stuff and lock it away, right? A huge part of the NDW's mission is making it accessible. And they do that by publishing compilations of these primary sources, bringing raw, unfiltered history directly to the people. And they've put out some incredibly powerful stuff. I mean, just look at this one. The Partition of Punjab, 1947. Can you imagine having access to the original documents, the telegrams, the confidential reports from one of the most painful and important events in the region's history? Or how about this title, The Journey to Pakistan? That just tells you it's a story, right? A curated collection of documents that piece together the long, complicated road to independence. This is history told not through a textbook, but through the words of the people who actually lived it. And this one shows you how diverse the collection is. It's not all just about politics and borders. A title like Official Record on Ghalib's Pursuit hints at all the cultural and personal histories tucked away in the archive. Stories about poets, artists, and everyday individuals. So how does the NDW actually pull all this off? Well, it's a really systematic process. It goes from basically hunting down records all over the world to putting them right into the hands of researchers and the public. It all starts with acquisition. That's retrieving records from here, there, and everywhere. Then comes preservation, using cool techniques like microfilming to protect these super fragile documents for the long haul. Next, they provide research and reference access. And finally, publication, which is where they share these incredible findings with the rest of the world. So who's actually using all this incredible material? Well, it's a whole range of people. You've got your researchers and students, of course, but also federal and provincial government organizations. And policymakers rely on these records to inform their work. And what's really cool is that the general public is getting more and more access to this national treasure. And you know this is a big deal when you look at where the NDW fits in the government structure. This isn't some forgotten agency tucked away in a basement. It operates directly under the Cabinet Division, with the Cabinet Secretary themselves providing oversight. That tells you that preserving the nation's history is a top-level priority. Okay, let's pull all of this together. Why is this institution so fundamentally important? Because believe me, this is about so much more than just storing old papers in a climate-controlled room.
At the end of the day, by bringing all these scattered sources into one place, the NDW gives people the raw material to build a more accurate, more nuanced understanding of Pakistan's history. It lets them move past myths and engage directly with the actual evidence.
And this hasn't been some short-term project. We're talking about a long, dedicated effort. For 51 years, this institution has been quietly, steadily working on its mission to find, to preserve, and to share the story of a nation.
So, if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. The NDW is absolutely vital. It didn't just create an archive, it went out and reclaimed a nation's memory. It makes real historical research possible, it helps the government do its job, and it provides the factual foundation that helps strengthen a national identity.
You know, the work of an archive is never really finished. By preserving the past, institutions like the NDW give all of us the tools to understand our present. But it also leaves us with a pretty big question. As new histories are made every single day, who gets to be the custodians of our future stories?